All right, welcome to the Engagement Show. I'm your host or your co-host, John Chen, and of course, we have our other amazing co-host, Roger Haskett. What we also want to do here too is let you know that if you want to subscribe, share, like, or comment if you're watching this stream, make sure and do that. We'd love to see you around here, and if you can comment during our live show, we'll make sure and bring you in. Speaking of bring in, let's bring in from the Canada, the one and only Roger Haskett.
Woo!
Roger.
End of year show, celebrations show, holiday season show. So exciting. I'm wearing my semi-holiday Christmas sweaterish. John, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I got some red on here, right? And we're just looking at the holidays. I can't believe it's December now, Roger. You know, this has been one of those years which seemed to accelerate the faster it went along, right?
It's absolutely true. As you get older, years are shorter anyway. But what happened between September and December 15th was like, I was like, oh, December's coming up. And it was like, it's in December. We're in December. We're halfway through December. Yeah.
Well, the great thing to do here in December, right, is to reflect and to celebrate. So Roger and I, right, one of the key parts of engagement is celebrating. We tell people all the time, acknowledge your amazing people, acknowledge your accomplishments. So Roger and I are just going to take a moment here to really share that. And by the way, if you are watching or after this, go to the comment and celebrate something you did this year. We want to hear from you, right? We want to find out what great successes you had. Along with celebration too comes gratitude. Roger, what does gratitude mean to you?
Well, so it's so funny. I talk about gratefuls on stage all the time in my talks because I find the search for gratefuls is where you build up your grateful power. And so in our family, we have. So I got this from going to a talk, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
This guy was talking about gratefuls, and so I came home and I said, okay, we're going to start doing gratefuls around around the kitchen table, around the dinner table. So we started off doing one, and I have 3 kids, and they all started off being like, don't look at me. By the end of the first week, we were doing 3 gratefuls each, and my kids were like going, me, me, me. And the thing about gratefuls, it's not that you're able to just say what you're grateful for easily. That's great. That's wonderful. But the real power in gratefuls is when you don't feel grateful, when you feel like your day is really crappy, when you feel that your life is really, really in the hole. Those are the times where you reach for gratefuls. And that's where you build up your grateful muscle, when you start to go, I don't feel grateful for anything. And then you start to think, okay, I'm actually grateful I can move. I'm grateful I can breathe. I'm grateful I have children. I'm grateful I have friends.
Yeah.
And you start to realize that the basic building blocks of gratefuls are the most powerful. They're the most meaningful. Like when you say, I'm grateful I have a computer, okay, whatever. But when you say things like, I don't know what else to say, but I'm grateful I have feet. Like it's things like that you start to go, yeah, that's where the gratefuls really have power. So
I'm grateful that I have the ability to communicate and connect with people around the world, right? So that's like the difference between I'm grateful for a computer. We're grateful what these things do for you in your life, right? And so I think that's really one of the keys. So let's start off. We're going to share probably 3 apiece here. The first one I'm really going to share about is that the Engaging Conference. I'm so grateful this year that our registration hit one of the highest numbers to date. 1,108 people registered. And I'm super excited, Roger, to talk that I'm working on this year's program. And for the first time, I'm ready to go hybrid. So I've identified a venue here in Seattle, Washington. 150 very lucky and special, hopefully grateful guests are going to come in person. So we'll have an in-person audience, a virtual audience, and our YouTube audience. So those are the 3 ways you can participate. And again, I'm happy too to offer a free ticket to the many people who, aren't sure or don't have the resources. I want to provide this education to them. And so I found a means to do that. So that's one of the top things I'm grateful for this year, Roger.
Yeah, well, you have every reason to be grateful about that. I was one of the participants at this year's conference again, and it was amazing again. And John, you really built something up here. It's amazing. You started with this idea like 4 years ago, or whatever it was, right? Like I was near you when these things were being discussed, and from where you started to where you've gone. It's pretty amazing. So my first grateful and celebration. I want to talk about my team. I want to talk about the performers that my friends and performers that I hired to do stuff, my brother who works with me in the office, my spouse, my amazing wife, Jenny, who is the best person in the world, who helps with so many different things, and my kids, who are also so wonderful and amazing. And then the cherry on the top, I'm really grateful, and I want to celebrate our clients. Uh,
Mm.
we have such amazing people who reach out and hire us. I consider them to be parts of our family. Some of them we've been working with for right here it shows we've been in business for 31 years right here. And I have clients. I was just at a meeting on, what is it today? So on Monday, I was at a meeting where I'm talking to people, and I said, we've done over 200 shows for your company, this is a DMC in 30 years. And the people in the room, I was like, I knew you when this company started. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for people who show that type of loyalty, and who are so great around me. People who are so great, like you, John. I'm grateful for you.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Roger. That's a great piece. Business 101 turns out that you'll find the Pareto's rule everywhere, right? 20% of your clients give you 80% of the business. And then there's those other parts, which is it ends up being around the relationship. And that relationship is so important, whether it's on your side or their side. Sometimes maybe they forgot to book you for a date. You're available, you show up, right? And there's other times when you give them grace. And so that's the true part. The relationship doesn't really get formed when everything goes right. I think your relationship really is determined when everything goes wrong, and then you figure out what kind of partners are you. Speaking of partners, too, what's also on my list? Book number 17,000 went out, and I got to tell you, that average in the U.S. for an author is 300 if you account for all the books. And by the way, anytime you get to 10,000, a publisher like John Wiley and Sons, thank you for publishing two of my books, is that they like you. They'll talk to you again if you can sell 10,000. And
Of course.
I actually did a webinar this year because I had two people ask me, we want to become authors. And the number one rule I'll give to you, Roger, is this: writing the book is 20%.
Yeah.
Selling the book is 80%, and this is 3 years, 2020. Yeah, this is 3 years of selling this book to sell 17,000. It is an accomplishment. So for those who are authors, all those think that you're going to be best-selling million hitters. There's actually less than 100 people who will hit 1 million or more books in a year. So, there's the rest of us authors, at least that that making a difference in that 17,000's life. That's I feel
Well,
like the starfish story, right?
totally. Well, the other thing is, it's not just about the sales. Like, it's not just about the numbers, because you and I write books for different reasons than people who write books just to make money, right? Like, we write books because we want to share concepts with the world that we think are really powerful and important, that help
Yeah.
events, help people, help teams. And so to me, out of those 17,000, and or in my book, I think I've sold about 1,000 in that range. I have a bunch sold through audiobook. It's like, the story is how many of those people are touched, right? Like, that's the real story that we don't really know. Like, how many people have read your book, my book, and gone, this has helped me figure out a thing in my life that has long been challenging me. Here's my book. I should put it up over here on the side. There we go. Oh, look, it's hanging around. Oh, go, there it is. Yeah, it's how many people that you've actually touched, and that have benefited from what we have done. That's part of the stuff that gives me the power to get up in the morning and do things, right?
I think you'll like this. So the Puget Sound Business Journal and other publications count their readership like 3 to 5 times, because they actually did a survey and it says this particular paper is passed 3 to 5 times to other people. A book does that too. So that's
Yeah.
really kind of a cool part. If you take 17,000 times five, that's the number of people could be impacting. I also know that some of my books have already shown up on the secondary book list. So you can buy it used, right?
Yeah.
And so that means somebody else is going to get the impact for it. So for all
Yeah.
you who are authors, right? Just keep
And
fire 3 to 5.
And not only that, it's every person who's read the book
Yeah.
will likely spend some time talking to someone else about the parts in the book that they mattered most to them. So
Oh,
you think about the families that, I go
yeah.
downstairs and I go, I was just talking to this person and they just dropped this idea in my head. I can't believe it. So my family benefits from so we got to celebrate all the people that are getting touched in a good way by our books.
This is actually a good realization too to go through because it's so easy to discount, Roger. Oh, 17,000. I'm nowhere near fill in the blank author, right? As opposed to like, you know what? What's hang on, now I got to do the math. What's 17 times 5?
That's like 85 or something.
85,000 people impacted. And I know the for a fact because my good friend Mitch Simon, who we've been good friends, he's been a speaker at my conference, actually mentioned my book in a LinkedIn video that he made.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll tell this quick story. When about 6 months ago, when I was having a very down day, I talked to two different people. I think I talked about this already. Two different people within about 20 minutes of each other. And both of them said, Roger, the videos that you put out at the beginning of the pandemic, I can't tell you how meaningful those were for me. They helped me so much. And I was like, what? Like out of the blue is this person I never expected to say that. And I was like, oh my God, that touched me so much. And then 20 minutes later, this person, another totally different person, random, totally different culture, world that I know them from. And they were like, oh, I just want to let you know those videos you made really made a difference in my life. And so you go, how many times are the things that you do? So we just put out a meme this Monday, and it was like, for every moment that you are doubting yourself, there's another person admiring your strength.
Oh.
Right? Like, which we never like. So all we feel is the doubt. We rarely feel the admiration of strength, but that's out there in the world waiting for us to sense.
Oh. So is that one of your grateful parts, or do you have something else you want to share before I share my last one?
I'm grateful that since we've gone back to live, we're able to do our most meaningful give back, which is our mud pie kitchens, where we make mud pie kitchens or buddy benches, and we give them to underserviced daycares or preschools or elementary schools. And I'm just really proud that we're back on that cycle of donating these amazing things that work for the kids that kids play with. We're back to donating them. And so we figured out that over the course of this last year alone, we've had well over 8,000 children experience our mud pie kitchen or buddy benches, like over and over on their playground. So like 8,000 experiences for kids that help elevate them and help educate them. I'm pretty proud about that. That's something to celebrate.
You should be proud of that, right? Because now it's about the kids, right? They're talking about out of all the beings to make an impact here on this planet, the kids is really one, and underserviced or underserved kids is really the part. Oh, look at this picture. Hold on, I'm going to bring this picture up here.
Yeah,
Tell us a little more about this picture.
So this is a family. So we often get asked, do these work for kids? And we're always like, not only do they work for kids, kids won't leave. Like we had 12 families making these, each one making a different mud pie kitchen. And they literally, we were like, okay, the event's over, time for you guys to go. And they're like, no, we're just going to keep staying here. We want to keep decorating. We want to keep designing. So they're just so much fun. They're just so much, and they're so meaningful. Anyway, that's some of our mud pie kitchens.
That's a beautiful, beautiful photographs with that. So yeah, back to the kids. That leads me to my last piece to be really grateful for this year is that I have found out when my oldest son called me that I'm going to be a grandfather, right? And the amazing part, I'm the last of 5 kids, and I will be the first grandfather out of all 5 of them. So I love to. The funny part, Roger, I just shared is like we put out social media all the time, hoping that it touches somebody, and a lot of times we don't get anything from it. You're like a three, four likes. I put this thing on social media that I've become a grandfather, and like 490 people, right, hit me up and said congratulations. So I think it's one is that it's these personal moments that are the most important that are successes, right? It's not necessarily our business success that will determine who we are at the end of our life. It's what success are we having in our family? And so I got a chance to see my son and his amazing wife, and they updated us on how they're doing. And so far, everything is smooth sailing. So they're about 3 to 4 months into it. So watch my social media. You're hopefully going to see a kid around May or June. That will be
Oh,
my grandkid.
I don't think there's anything better than being a grandparent. Like being a parent is wonderful, but it's hard and so many. But being a grandparent is just like joy, joy, joy. So speaking about celebration, I guess I could tie this into celebration and grateful. So the most response I got in social media is when I did something personal too. So it wasn't about being a grandfather. I put on that I had been hired for a Hallmark movie, and they totally changed me up. So I'm going to show you a picture of what they made me look like. But I put this on. I put like, here I am before and here I am after. And I had, just like you, I had an explosion of social media, which just gives you an idea. People really want to know what's going on in our lives. Like people really, like, as much as we talk about business, people are really concerned about, they're very interested in who we are, right? Like the things that we experience. So this was me, right? So I'm me right now, but this is what they turned me into after like an hour and a half in the makeup chair. And so that's the thing I put on social media, and that's the thing that got like, I don't know how many hits and comments and likes, because it's interesting to see people's personal life.
It's kind of like Lord of the Rings meant Country Bob Adams or something. I don't know.
Oh my God, that's so hilarious you said that, because I describe it as, think of Gandalf with a bad dental plan.
Yeah. Oh my God. What was the highlight of doing that? So you got to act a part in a movie for that. Is that
So not only did the highlight, I got to be like that. That was amazing. But I walked out and I had to do it in this cave. So I did my scene in the cave. It was like, an emotional 2-minute scene. And I came back out, and all the people walking past me who I'd seen for the previous 3 hours before they saw me acting, they were all like, they were, hey, Roger, blah, blah, blah. And then I came back after acting like that guy, and they all looked at me like this. As I walked by, they were all like, like, as an actor, those moments are the reason you do things. Because what those eyes showed me was, they were like, you were a different person a moment ago. Like
you're bought into your character. Yeah, I'm totally bought into whoever you are.
Yeah, which is pretty exciting when you're an actor.
Well, here, let me give you this, because this is the other thing actors want, is this. We live for the applause.
100%. Wait a second, I'll add my own. Oh, there we go. I'll add some of my own. I often get this sort of applause. What?
Well, here, I can give you this kind of applause. Ready?
Nice. I got to give myself this one.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, Best Actor Award. It's Roger Haskett.
Or Gandalf with the bad dental plan. Come on up.
Oh, man. Well, Roger, we have so much to celebrate for this this year. What's a wish that you have for 2024?
I wish that I wish that we're busy enough that all the people that rely on me, all the artists that like to get paid for doing what they're put on this world, on this earth to do. My wish is that we're busy enough that all those people are making really good amounts of money. It's been a hard 4 years for artists. So,
Yeah. I have the same wish, except mine are our producers and virtual MCs or hybrid MCs. And let me just tell you, though, there's still plenty of work to be done. Despite all these successes, there's still plenty of bad virtual, bad hybrid, and bad engagement. So we want to change that around there. So if you want to celebrate with us, you want to become one of our top 100 clients, make sure and click the link to meet Roger or myself anywhere that we're at. Roger, do you have any final closing words for our amazing audience today?
Adios 2023. Welcome 2024.
There we go. Happy holidays. Welcome to the return to a world almost normal and maybe even slightly better in all the different crazy ways. Roger, thank you so much for being here with me on the Engagement Show all year long. We hope that you've been enjoying these episodes.
Mm-hmm. See you, John.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you. John Chen here for the Engagement Show. We'll see you with our first show in 2024 next year.
Oh, good timing. I'm just finishing.